What is up, everybody? It's your boy Max Gallegos here with another sports rant. Here with Daniel Zuniga, and he was covering the Rape Bowl here in Arizona. He's in Phoenix right now,
Yes.
and yeah, so the Lobos just wrapped up. It's December. It's the day after Christmas, Boxing Day. Actually, I guess it's almost a couple days after Christmas now. But um, 2017 Minnesota wins. Break it down for us.
Yeah. So I mean coming in up to the actual game itself, it was kind of crazy that you're kind of looking at like symmetrical programs because you just kind of hearing their coach PJ Fleck, he kind of embodies a lot of what Eck embodies and like what Eck values.
Mhm.
So you're kind of like, and you also, it was crazy because you also had like two similar quarterbacks, teams that are pretty dang good in both sides of the trenches. Um, and so it was kind of going to be an even Stevens matchup. And like the first quarter, what's his name? I'm sorry, Maverick, a linebacker from Minnesota, gets a sack on the first play of the game. And yeah, the offense couldn't get too much juice flowing. The defense played well the entire game, in my opinion. Minnesota gets on the board or gets on the board and they go up 7-6. It goes into halftime. Minnesota gets another touchdown. Lobos get a huge kick return for a touchdown from Damon Bankston, able to get the 2-point conversion. Jack Lane giving it to Keegan Johnson. And
Mhm.
then in overtime, the UNM Lobos settle for a field goal, and Minnesota has the final touchdown of the college football season
Yeah,
with an absolute dot to Smith and ends it. And
that was an incredible catch. I'll give him that. When I
it was
saw
a
it, I was like,
great throw, great catch. And I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me is because it stinks because Austin Brawley, he was after the game, he immediately just fell to his knees and was just sitting there, and you could just see that he was devastated. And it was kind of cool because Mercury Swaim came over and attended to him, and then after that, Tavian Coombs came over as well and walked with him back. Um, but it just stinks because now you're starting to see a little bit of the ugly side of sports,
right
where there's been a few Lobo players that are kind of,
on the fence.
getting a little, I guess, targeted in the comments or getting a little bit
Right.
the fans are. I would say most of Lobo fans, and it's really great to see, are very supportive. I think everybody is more just kind of just like, wow, we had an incredible season. They came up with just a little bit short, but it was still a great season.
Yeah.
And so
I really,
hopefully
yeah. I
hopefully
got
more of
like,
those UNM fans can kind of continue that sentiment. And then the fans showed out. I mean, it was kind of cool that a lot of the Fiesta Foundation people, because they're the ones who run the Rate Bowl, they
right.
were saying they've never seen anything like this before, like for that kind of fan base to show out. And I hate to say it because I didn't want to in front of these Minnesota media people that I just met and I was becoming friends with. I think it was clear to everybody whose fan base was the loudest that day.
Oh yeah.
I
I think it's a granted we'll give him a little grace because it's a little bit closer for us there in Phoenix. Coming down
it's
from
that,
Minnesota is
yes.
quite a
But
flight, quite a drive.
there was a certain energy and rowdiness that, like, even if it was the same exact numbers, and I don't know the exact numbers, but people were saying that it was pretty even Stevens. But if there was an exact number, I would still say the UNM. I don't know. There's just something about them,
We're just feisty. It's just we're made different. Like they
like
make
this
us
is Coach
different here.
Flex for Minnesota. This is his eighth win, his eighth bowl win, seventh straight as a Minnesota coach. Like they've been there, done this plenty of times. And this is the most historic season in UNM football history, and
Right.
the fans are behind it, and it's going to be kind of cool. I want to see. Hopefully, it can keep progressing in the right direction. Of like, Lobo fans are a weapon. Lobo fans,
Oh,
like people
yeah.
are gonna. Did you hear about? Did you hear Coach X comments about the New Mexico Bowl?
I know I didn't.
So when the rate bowl was announced,
Mhm.
Kochek kind of alluded to the fact that they were, because I think at that time everybody was like, okay, like even Kochek was like, okay, we're gonna play the New Mexico Bowl, so let's start getting that worked out, like let's get that finalized,
Right.
right? So I guess teams that they were kind of talking to before the Rate Bowl opportunity came on board, teams that they were talking to about the New Mexico Bowl were showed some concern for, well, we're gonna go over there and play you guys in front of your home crowd.
Right.
Like that's an advantage for you. And it's like, wait, what the heck? It's like
Yeah.
no one's ever said,
No,
hey,
no one's
Lobos are playing a bowl game at home. We're not gonna go play
exactly.
them because of their fan base. So
That's
that's a
actually
testament
I
to
love
Lobo
that.
Nation.
I love that. Another thing, big thing that I kind of I made a comment on. UNM took a very special jet, one that's I have a lot of connection to that I was kind of shocked and put off by. They took the New England Patriots jet to Arizona. They got to fly on it. They like you.
Yeah.
I saw your interview with Coach Jack where you were saying, "Hey, well, it's just like how'd that happen?" It was just like, well, we just didn't have any like the people we usually charter with didn't weren't able to get us a jet, and that was pretty cool
Yeah.
for me. Being a fan of both of them, I know you. It's just like like they fucking hate the Patriots, right? But it was awesome. It was just awesome. It's awesome to see that. So do you have any more reporter info for me on that?
On the Patriots jet. Well, no, I mean it was so I mean I wanted to ask him because I'm pretty sure everybody was also wondering too.
Right.
But some of the media people around here in this area who've been in the business for a while, they were very just straight up telling me, and I was like, they were just saying that, yeah, that's pretty common. They were just saying that there's certain off seasons for professional teams. It's pretty common for them to charter out their like specific team plane, to like smaller teams. They were recalling something that happened with Wyoming where they were driving or where they were riding some professional sports planes. So I don't know, but for me though, the timing of it, right? It's like the Rate Bowl, you're taking the Patriots one, which made headlines. The Gruden unboxing made
That was
headlines.
so cool.
So to be honest with you, like this Rate Bowl and the whole kind of, I don't know, there's even some bowls are kind of on the chopping block, so to speak. I don't think the Rate Bowl was ever in the chop block, but
Right.
there was, I think Minnesota and UNM both got the opportunities because some other teams pulled out. They got the opportunity and the stage and the platform to do something great. And they put on a great game on ESPN
Yeah.
with no competition from other games, with no like NBA Christmas games or Christmas, the day after Christmas games or anything like that. It
Right.
was like, this is the game to watch. And people watched it. And it was, because of course, right, as a UNM alumni, I would have been like, oh yeah, if it would have been like 50-0, that would have been great. But for the Rate Bowl and for both programs, maybe not so much.
Mhm.
So I think, again, half glass full, I think this was a great national game for both of the programs because on one side of it, like it shows that UNM can punch, with
But yeah, no
Big
weight
Ten
class.
teams. Like that
I
stinks.
think I
Right?
think that's something that really has been showcased.
It wasn't
This
it wasn't just they handled their schedule. It's like they've
right.
been punching with the Big Ten teams for a while. They've been punching with, well, actually the Big Ten. I was going to say the Pac-12, but UCLA is not in the Pac-12
Right.
anymore.
Exactly.
But and then the other thing too, for the Minnesota team, because I also stayed there for the post game interviews, is Coach Fleck was saying that he's like, we got a lot of young guys on our team, and
Mhm.
he's like, our team, our group, our program is the outlier where we believe in development over getting a 1 year flyer or getting like a team of mercenaries, so to speak.
Right.
So Coach Fleck has had something to prove too, and dare I say, I was talking about this with some other media guys, but like when is this guy going to get his ticket to the big or get his consideration for big programs? Because you look at what Michigan just did with Kyle Whittingham.
Mhm.
You're not going for the Lane Kiffins of the world where it's like, ooh, offensive gurus and big
Right.
names and getting all this. With all due respect to Kyle Whittingham, he's
Right.
a very safe, a very accomplished head coach in this league. He's going to go in there and he's going to handle the media. Like it's not going to be a problem, and there's not going to be like a story every other week. There's not
Right.
going to be
It's not
drama.
like he's not Lane Kiffin. Like I mean, nobody's Lane Kiffin when it comes
He's
to drama.
he's going to establish a good culture, and I'm wondering if the NCAA will start leaning into that more and more. If PJ Fleck will, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets a job for a program that has a little bit more to work with and stuff like that. No disrespect to Minnesota. And then also some of the media guys were telling me they were like, we don't think so because he's kind of plateaued where every year it's like he'll get 9 wins, he'll get 8 wins and stuff like that. But again,
right?
I feel
But
like
still, like
you know,
I really well, my message is this to all the Lobo fans out there who are like, oh, we lost, blah blah blah, like whatever. Just think about if I told you we went 9-4, and yeah, sure we lost in the bowl game, but we went 9-4 at the beginning of the season. You would have slapped me. You would have been like, "You're so stupid. This doesn't happen. We don't win football games."
well,
And then it's like,
yeah,
and all of a sudden now it's like we have a really competent coach. We like this is just the beginning. This is the start of what Coach Eck is building. I love to see every time I'm scrolling on Instagram and I see the post that they make is returning to ABQ, right? And it's
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
like Jack Lane, Jackson Eck, all these guys returning to ABQ. And then just and so we're having a uh the build up is just it's awesome.
yeah, and it's well, yeah, it's been a fantastic year for the UNM Lobos, and I would say that it was kind of strange because after the loss, it stunk. Like it was kind of just like, oh man, like we didn't get the win. But I wouldn't say that the majority of people were like, oh, this game's fixed, the Lobos should have won, or
Right.
oh, this stinks. Like everybody, it was kind of like one of those movies where like the sports team doesn't win the final game of the year, but they still
Mhm.
like have a happy ending type of thing.
Right.
I think this team has a lot to hang its hat over. And, like Mercury Swaim and because Jackson Eck went out from this game, or like he was out most of the game.
Right.
But Mercury Swaim really, I mean, that guy's a leader and he
And
got his chance to start halfway through the season, about like at the halfway mark. And
such a cool
um,
name too.
Mercury Swaim, yeah, it's freaking awesome.
Mercury.
But that
That's
guy is, I don't know, like I'm so excited because again, with all these, like you got to think of in college football, right? It's like the argument for allowing some time to progress, right? Is you have your Joe Burrows of the world where you have 1 year they're looking like a college quarterback, and then the next year they produce the greatest college season of all time. And it's like, so I'm excited to see what development does to a lot of these guys that are returning because we've already gotten a taste of who they are and what Mercury Swaim is one of the, I think he's the top. I believe Jackson is above him in run defense per PFF, and I think he's number two. But
Mhm.
I'm happy to see like what he's going to do with a whole offseason of kind of like, okay, you're the starter, and another offseason of like you're the guy now and you're the leader because he's more than capable of being a leader on a team. And this
Right.
guy's a good football player as well. So, and then same thing with like Jack Lane, Jackson Eck, Austin Brawley, because again, I can't, you know, I just feel bad for Austin Brawley is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. He's the guy with heroics from San Diego State. I didn't know if he was going to play this year. We didn't know if he was going to play this year. Comes back, is already leading the team in interceptions
It's
and
just
hasn't been
insane.
around too
It's
much. Always makes a big play. Such a smart player. And it just stinks that like that guy is going to have to have that in the back of his mind that,
I think what it is, I think use it as fuel. I think this is really like it kind of it's great. And I also coach. I remember watching one of the interviews with Coach Eck, one of his press media things, and he was like, "Yeah, it's hard to sometimes whenever you have so much success to get guys back going again.
yeah.
Get him that like oh like we like he compared it to like the caveman. We got a stockpile of elk. We're fine, right? It's like, okay, now we have something. Okay, we can go into the off season and we can be like, hey, this is something we want to work towards. We have a goal. We have a set goal. We want to do. We have a and it's the vision is very clear. We want to get back and we want to win next time. We want to get to the college football playoff like Tulane and JMU and maybe win one.
Well, and you got to think about it too, right? The Mountain West. He was telling Coach Mullen after the UNLV game and even at the Mountain West Media Day conference, or no, I'm sorry, at the game,
Mm-hmm.
that it's like this can be the new rivalry. Like this can be the new kind of powerhouse teams going at it every year in the Mountain West, like UNLV, UNM, because Boise State's no longer there.
Right.
Utah State's not there. There's a lot of teams leaving. And so, Coach Check has always talked about that was a very appealing thing when he signed over to UNM was that the Mountain West is up for grabs, so to speak.
Right.
And I don't know, like I think just kind of setting now with everything that's happened this year, it's like, yeah, a Mountain West title should be on that card of, we can do that.
We
We
can do
can
that.
accomplish that. You know,
And we were robbed.
it's
We were,
yeah.
now I know you never say no to the computer. The computers never lie now, but I always in my heart of hearts was like we were robbed. That was there was something
Yeah.
fishy about that. But
This was my thing too, where I talked to these media people, a couple of media people, and these couple of media people have like Heisman votes, right? So they get a vote on all that stuff.
ooh,
But when I talked to them, they were like, I prefer, because my suggestion was that if you come to a four-way tie, which is rare, I don't know, I feel like some human intervention is needed because you
yeah,
need a human to be like, UNM is one of the best, is one of the two best teams in this conference right now. You can't really show that with a computer, but they're one of the, like, if you had humans, like credentialed humans, and said, who are the two best teams here?
it
It
would
would have
be
been UNM and somebody else. I
right.
could see there being a case for San Diego State, and I could see there being a case for Boise State. Unfortunately, I know UNLV's, but anyways,
Like I see
that's a
that's
whole
the
long
whole
thing to say that these media people said that, I don't know. I feel like human intervention is not. I'm like, this is college football. Like we all rely on the CFB gods who decide who's going to the playoffs. We all decide rely on these AP voters,
right.
these humans who decide who's the top 25. I feel like at that point, human intervention should have intervened.
Exactly. And it's kind of like the where how Notre Dame was very upset that they didn't get into the college football playoff. And we were very upset about that, blah blah blah. And it's very funny because it's like, well, you lost to Texas A&M and M and Miami, and there was it was enough that you did not make it. And of course, they got very mad and they didn't want to play in the bowl game, so they took their ball and went home because we're upset and sad and we're Notre Dame and blah blah blah. But anyway, that's kind of how I felt when that news broke to me. But um I do want to touch on one last thing in the last couple minutes I have you hear it kind of like at gunpoint. um, NFL MVP, who's your pick?
NFL MVP?
Yeah, not Bo Nix,
Bo Nix.
not
No,
Bo
I'm just
Nix.
kidding.
No,
Matthew Stafford.
that's your Stafford.
Yeah.
I got you, man. I of course would I actually kind of agree with you. Not but partisan me is it agrees with you. Of course, the rest of me is like Drake May. Well, there's a part of my brain that just says Drake May, Drake May, Drake May, Drake May, Drake May, just constantly. So, yeah. How about your Broncos? That was a narrow win on Christmas. I didn't like the white
Yeah.
uniforms,
I
but
liked him. I was a
I
fan.
I feel like whenever teams do white, it's just too much. Like
Mm.
there's just like it's like okay, we've got to add a little bit more color. You need to be more orange in there. Like do
Hey,
something a little
well,
bit. Like
Jackson, did you like the UNM white uniforms they wore
um,
against Nevada? I like those ones too. And Jackson
I
said
see
that was his second favorite uniform
those
behind the turquoise.
behind the turquoise. Like, but like I think when there's something with like the all whites, I don't hate UNMs because it's UNMs. So I'm gonna be like,
Oh no, it
okay,
wasn't all white. It was like white pants, red jersey, and they had like these white helmets with the old-fashioned
oh yeah, see
like Louis Lobo on the side.
that's perfect
Yeah.
because whenever a team does like all the all white uniforms, I'm like, really like it's just like it's kind of like it looks cool on Instagram. Like the Bills did it, and then the I think the Vikings started it, like, and then the Packers. I'm like, this just looks like, oh yeah, let's take our uniform and take away all the color,
Yeah, no.
and it's like it just doesn't look good. It looks good
Yeah,
on Instagram. It doesn't look
I
good
would
on.
say it's hit or miss. Yeah, for me, it's like I really like it or I don't. It's kind of like if teams were did full black, like I think the Lions do it. It's really cool.
Yeah, though
But
I feel like the full black is like, I mean, like the Raiders always had that like class and like style with it, but like the all white, you
that's
see
the
all the
thing though,
great
is because the
stadiums.
Raiders is just black, but like the Lions is kind of like
The
it's got that bluish to it, on the helmet. It
yeah,
looks awesome.
I don't know. That's just my opinion. I know you got to go here soon, so I will let you get some sleep. You worked really hard on that, brother. Make sure you guys go follow him, go read all of his things so he can feed his family. it really appreciate you having you on.
My family. Oh yeah, I say that all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you say that all the time. Yeah, I know he's tired, he's delusional. He probably will forget this in the morning. So please go subscribe to his stuff. Go at Couch Potato Sports Coverage for everything on all his platforms. I'll tag him in below. But yeah, appreciate it, man. Of
perfect. Thank you so much for having me.
course.